He was the Mr. Beast of ancient Greece. By the age of 30, he conquered the entire known world, even though he came out of relative obscurity. Though tutored by Aristotle, he had one thing on his mind, and that was conquering the world. And he built the largest empire while doing it. Starting in a backwater called Macedonia, he conquered all the way to India, something Jimmy is still having trouble doing. His name, Alexander the Great. Born in 356 BC, by the age of 30, he had conquered Greece, the Persian Empire, and Egypt, going from the Adriatic all the way to the Indus River and all the way up to what's modern-day Tajikistan, nearly to China. He was never defeated in battle, and he only stopped because his faithful men said that they couldn't go on any further. Tired of learning from world-renowned philosophers and recently made king after the death of his father, Alexander put down a rebellion in Thebes and began conquering Greece. But he was just getting started, seeing an opportunity to attack the much larger Persian Empire. The Persian Empire was a massive, yet weak and flaccid empire that had hundreds of years of decadence to weaken it. Within only a short period of time, he began conquering the empire. However, an empire that large needed to be taken in chunks. So he began moving, starting in modern-day Turkey, moving through the Levant, and then down into Israel. Pretty soon, he had reached Egypt, and you better believe that he climbed the pyramid with his friends. At many of these places, he was greeted as a liberator, and in doing so, he let them keep their religions, and he even adopted some of their customs. However, if they resisted, as some places did, when he won, which he always did, the men would be put to the sword, and the women and children sold into slavery. It was the ancient world after all. He then moved through the ancient stomping grounds of Assyria, Mesopotamia, and Babylon, passing by those already thousands of years statues, cities, and temples. The whole way as he conquered, he chased Darius III across the vast empire. Like and subscribe, there's videos every Wednesday. He went on to capture the capital of Persia, where he accidentally on purpose, with his men, burned down the city. Then Alexander wept for the destruction of Greece's ancient foe. However, Darius was still out there, but not for long. He was then killed in a coup, and when Alexander found out, he went after them, perpetrated the coup, and he killed them because he didn't want anyone to stand up against his power. He then went on to conquer Afghanistan and hung out in a region called Kandahar, a place many Americans will recognize the name of. He then moved up into modern-day Tajikistan, establishing the furthest of a long line of cities known as Alexandria. After all this, Alexander began moving and starting in Pakistan and naming the Indus River. As he continued through, he decided India should just be the name of the whole place. He then encountered a beast of his own, elephants. While in a battle against a Punjab king, he went up against elephants for the first time. He quickly figured out how to defeat them, and after conquering that foe, he was gifted his own elephant and named it Ajax. Moving deeper into India, he had almost reached the Ganges, but before he did so, his men, after 8 years of conquest and victory, decided no more. They then built 12 altars to the gods and to Alexander himself and returned to Persia. After returning to Persia, he executed a bunch of people who resisted him and then forced his men to marry Persian noble women. Then at 32, he died. Maybe from poison, maybe from drinking too much, maybe from typhoid. However, he didn't leave a successor. Instead, he chose to let his generals figure it out in a big game of last one to take his hand off the empire wins. After a short period of infighting, he decided to just split the empire up. His impact on the ancient world was massive. He spread the Greek language, culture, and monetary system across the world. The Greeks were the first to make a statue of Buddha, made in the likeness of the Greek god Apollo. The Greek kingdoms of India and Bactria lasted for hundreds of years, and they were the ones who made contact with the Chinese, helping to establish the Silk Road. Even today, you can see the city planning and art and culture from those regions still reflect their Greek heritage. He inspired countless cultures, empires, and conquerors for thousands of years since. Let's see if the Alexander of YouTube can do the same. 32 is still a long ways off for Jimmy. Well, for more, and watch these videos recommended.